she wants to walk up and leave, like, then I'm just gone as well. I mean, she knows where we live.
I'm telling you right now, you were with the wrong person.
You guys, Corona finally gets a clue after Ingi leaves her stranded in the streets of Iceland, but somehow he's the one that's still holding on. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, specifically Corona and Ingi. I didn't recap them the last episode because I knew that we would this week. In the last episode, what we saw is Corona go on a girls' date with her friends from Iceland, and they let her know that they've seen Ingi in the bars with other girls. It sounded harmless. Of course, you know, Corona had to dig a little, and when she did, Ingi felt away. He was like, 1, you're talking about me with other people. 2, it sounds like you are accusing me. Have I not shown you enough commitment? She's like, no, you haven't. Let's talk marriage. And he's like, you're trying to talk marriage after 4 months? Yeah. They're finally having that conversation. It ends up with Corona walking off because she's like, I sent you pictures of rings. Did you not think that I wanted marriage? And he's like, you're crazy. She walks off. And this is where we pick up, okay? Before we get into that, as always, make sure to like this video. Let me know your thoughts. It really does help me a lot with the algorithm. If you're new here and you're into 90 Day Fiance stuff, do hit the subscribe button. I like to do in-depth recaps on these couples. I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl with a lot of opinions. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, so the drama. So we pick up with Corona walking out of the bar. Ingi is walking out as well. It looks like he's looking for her for a moment. And then he's like, you know what? I don't need this. He gets in his car and he drives off. Yes. He drives off and leaves Corona, who's not an Icelandic native, and just leaves her. He's like, she knows how to get back home. This man does not like her because there is no way that if you and I are in a fight, and I am in your turf, that you're going to leave me stranded and we're going to come back from this. There's absolutely no way. That tells me everything I need to know. Corona is venting to the producers. She's trying to call up her Iceland girlies. They're not answering. And she's like, I need to go anywhere but here. But she's telling the producers, she's like, you know, I'm giving up so much and I'm not getting anything in return. And she definitely is. I think my whole thing with Corona this season is just that, girl, he didn't ask you to give up those things. He didn't make you promises of what you're looking for. He might have said nice things, but he didn't promise you what you wanted. He didn't tell you, give up X, Y, and Z so that you can be here. Ingi definitely didn't help the situation. He definitely has a role in her, you know, thinking that this was a possibility. I think a lot of this is her projecting her desires and just hoping that they stick with Ingi. And she's learning that that's not going to happen. I mean, this plan was doomed from its inception. But we see her the next morning, and she did in fact sleep in a hotel because she was like, I don't want to share a bed with this man. And good, right? Because he abandoned her, but she's not even harping on the fact that he left her alone in Iceland. So I'm like, wait, has he done this before? Like, she's not even tripping over that. What she's tripping on is the fact that she's like, it's crazy to me that he didn't think that I valued marriage, because that is what he said. He doesn't take marriage seriously. He never even really considered it. So she's like, how could we be so wrong and different about this? And I love that she does call out, because I was thinking this. She was like, you know, I'm not traditional about many things, but this is one of those things that I am. And like, I need to be with someone that's on the same page. And, you know, it's true. Like, she's so untraditional. She's so out there about many things. But I think that one can say that that's sending a mixed signal, you know. But to her, she's like, no, I've let him know that this is what I want. So Ingi pulls up. And I think that Corona thought that she was going to get this like romantic rom-com moment where he like shows up with flowers and he's like, babe, I'm an idiot. But she opens the door and it's just goofy Ingi, and she's like, no flowers? And he's like, oh, I should have thought of that. And perhaps if he liked her, he would have. That's a little mean. But guys, Honestly, if he wanted to, he would. And I do think that Ingi likes her. I just don't think that he loves her. And honestly, I don't think that he's done things up to this moment to show her that he's a flower guy, that he's a romantic gesture guy. He hasn't been that guy, but she wants him to be so badly. And that's why we don't date people off of potential. And I have to remind myself this. I really do. I think we love a project as women. I think that we are encouraged to have a guy grow with us and like learn how to love us. And I just think that that's BS. And I have to remind myself, yes, we should evolve as people as we're together. I think that at a certain age, people are wired to be who they're going to be. And if he's not a romantic guy, if he's not a thoughtful guy, he's not going to become one for you. And that's a hard pill to swallow. So they're seated there. They're looking at each other. They're trying to small talk. It's obvious that they both didn't sleep because they're both confused about where they stand. He does apologize for reacting in the way that he did. He's a little disappointed and embarrassed that he was just so like defensive. His excuse is that he's never been in a relationship before, and as he was reflecting, he's like, oh, I guess this is what it means. Like sometimes things get blown out of proportion. Yeah, I've heard my friends have situations like this. And I'm reminded that this man has never been in a relationship. And that's something to consider when dating someone at that age that has never experienced relationships. Because if he's gonna just leave you stranded at the slightest inconvenience, that wouldn't make me feel secure. Finally, Corona's like, listen, I think it's crazy that you didn't think that marriage was a thing for me. I didn't just send you a ring once. I sent it to you multiple times. Like you had to know. He's again, I think it's wild that you want to get married after 5 months. I know friends that have been together for like 8 years and are just engaged. He said something to that effect. But you guys, I really do think that this is cultural. I forget where I heard it. I don't know if it was in my comments or in another content creators video. They were saying that Nordic people really like, they can be together, they can be in fulfilling partnerships and not necessarily get married. So I think that for Ingi, this is totally normal. But Corona's like, we talked about having kids. Did you think that I was just gonna pop him out without a formal commitment from you? And so he's like, I didn't know that that mattered. And she looks pissed. She's not, pleased by this. I should also mention that this whole time, he's like really close to her. He's like rubbing her leg. He's giving her the puppy eyes. And she's just like, and he asks her to be more patient with him because again, this is his first relationship. And she's like, I have been patient. I think asking someone about marriage 4 months in can be argued that it's not patient. I definitely believe that you should talk about those big things up front, but I think she's talking about it with the expectation that it's going to happen soon, and that's where it gets a little icy. She says that she's not expecting it right away, but when he says, oh, like 5 years from now, she's like, that's so long. And it may be for her, and everyone's allowed to have their timeline. You would think that you would make sure that you're on the same page on this before you move to Iceland. The thing about Ingi is that he seems really sincere in this conversation, and I really do think that he wants to want this. I think, his siblings are married, his friends are married, everyone's having kids, his family wants that for him. So he's like, I should want this. This is the next step. But I don't think that at his core he does. I think he cares for Corona. I think that he's in over his head with Corona. What he tells her is that he does want to hit those milestones with her. He does daydream about it. He's just perhaps not on the same speeding train as she is. And she's like, that's a problem. She's looking at him and she's like, I'm not convinced that you actually want this. I think that you're just saying that because I'm saying I want it. And that's her smarts kicking in because I also think that. She's like, I'm afraid that I'm going to stay with you and you're going to change your mind. And I've wasted my prime years. I've wasted my 30s. And this man is like, I don't take life stuff that seriously, babe, but I take you serious. Corona, go home. She says she needs to reevaluate things because she really doesn't believe they're on the same page. And he's like, we are. And she's like, no, we're not. Again, you guys, he's giving her the puppy eyes. He's caressing her. And it's just not It's not doing what it used to do. She's sending him engagement rings. She wants an engagement now. And he's like, maybe in a decade. This is what gentle parenting your grown-ass man does. Be direct, say what you want, have your deal breakers, and if it doesn't match up, it's okay. Someone can be great and not be great for you, and that's okay. Corona girl, go home, get your degree, find you a man that wants you. You're just too cute for this, you're too smart for this. Ingy, good luck. There's just so much to lose. Take your L and go home. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'm sure you have a lot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.